Seeing the President of the United States, Donald Trump, flying into Georgia, turning himself in for the ignominious crime of daring to contest, to question his I don't think it was fair. I don't think I was treated fairly. I think there was something wrong with my case. I'm going to do it the same way that Stacey Abrams did, the same way that Jamie Raskin did, the same way that Hillary Clinton did. You know the routine. But with him, they're indicting him because his was different. Because he leveled a level. He evinced a level of degree of criminality nobody's seen before. It's a different story. Can you believe what I'm seeing? Can you believe what you are seeing? First, let me say right off the bat, born to raise hogs, ironic that Trump never gave a fig about Assange's free speech. You know, Born? You're right about that. You know, Born? You're right about that. Thank you, brother. I think you're a brother. I think. I'm not sure. Oh, it all comes back to him. And let me also tell you, there's a lot of people too who said Rudy Giuliani was a class A prick. And what he did when he was a U.S. attorney was nothing short of horrendous, Mr. Hoggs. And, you know, Trump said, I don't care about Julian Assange. Trump didn't mind the espionage charge then. What the hell's going on here? What are we doing? What is happening? How are we How are we not? Do we not get what's going on here? But here's the bottom line. If the same, you got to be honest, if the same person, if we switched everything, if instead of Trump, it was Hillary Clinton, you know what they'd say? Well, good. Can't be like that. Can't be like that. It's got to be for this, for everybody. Rudy Giuliani has hit a hard fall. You know he has more enemies than you can imagine. You know who couldn't stand him? Bill Bratton. Bill Bratton was a police commissioner under Rudy. And Bill Bratton was a guy who loved to go out at night. He loved the nightlife. He wishes he could be what Eric Adams thinks he wants to be. Oh, Bill Bratton he was at Elaine's, and he was part of the beautiful people, the Giuliani crowd. There was a guy named Jack Maple. Jack Maple had a bowler hat and I don't know if he had a handlebar mustache, but he was a rather kind of a portly chap where people said he wore spats, but he wore spectator shoes, different two-tone shoes. He and I had many a conversation at one of our favorite, a great watering hole that is no more. The days of the saloons were over. Those were days. They don't have them anymore. They're just not. COVID killed it, and it just destroyed it. Though that's when New York was, man. Saloons were not. It wasn't just to go to drink and get drunk. It was who you met. You didn't know who you were going to meet. I met. I'm not going to mention the names. There's one guy in particular. We used to bounce around all the time, and you know his name. And you find out later on, a lot of these people are not very interesting, even though they're famous. You're interesting to me because you care about this stuff. And I'm not just saying that. You're interesting to me because you care. They don't understand this. There's so much that is so wrong. How many of you are sick of Vivek Ramaswamy? How many of you want to puke Every time he said, he's the new leader. He's the new leader. Tell me. Al Sanchez says, yep, the good old days. Tell me, how many of you are saying to yourself, enough? What is with this guy? What is so great about him? What did he do? What did he do that's so terrific? He's a smart ass. He's a prick. He comes across like a real smart ass. What is it? Let me tell you something. I used to, and I know this. I swear to you, I know this. Big, who was it? Jack says, nobody younger than me should be president. Big Chungus says he's overrated, but he doesn't give me a visceral reaction. He doesn't. The reaction of other people do. Come on, he's okay. He's all right. Alan Keyes. Remember him? It might be Alan Keyes. Okay, fine. Let me tell you something. Now, do you do understand, do you not, what this means to be president, right? You do know this, right? You do know this, right? He's talking about running for president, not going for some TV show or being some, influencer. Okay, I got to stop. I got to do my thing, which is very, very important. Listen to what I'm saying. Make sure you follow me on that there X thing. Got a lot of good stuff to say. Oh, I'm ticking people off. I love it. Make sure you subscribe to this, which is very important. Also, make sure you like this video and subscribe and do all that stuff. And don't forget to hit the YouTube notification and all of that. And don't forget lionelmedia.com. That's where my private stuff is. But I got to tell you something right now. You know what I saw today? Have you heard about this? Fire NATOs. Have you heard about that? You heard about a fire NATO? Did you hear fire NATO? Do you remember years ago when people talked about food storage? Didn't it sound like, what are you talking about? God, you know this guy? He's got like food. I went to his garage. He's got food. Other people would save ammo. What do they want? What do they want? The apocalypse? Is this some kind of eschatological? How many people think today storing food is nuts? Nobody. So here's the deal. The great people at preparewithlionel.com, it's my Patriot Supply, but the link is preparewithlionel.com. That's it. Preparewithlionel.com. Right here. None others. Listen to what I'm saying. You got to use this one or else it doesn't count. There we go. That's it. They have put together stuff. They have just, it is so brilliant. Look at what they've done. Look at these things. Mac and cheese, rice pudding, creamy stroganoff, potato soup, cheese, broccoli, honey wheat bread mix, creamy Alfredo pasta, chili mac, spaghetti. This is just in this. Creamy chicken flavored rice, Southwest rice, long grain rice, buttermilk pancakes, strawberry flavored creamy. It goes on. And the banana chips, you got to have those. Drink mixes, powdered whey, blah, 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 blah. All put in, you're going to love this, in 6 durable, water-resistant buckets that kind of like stack on top of each other modularly. You can put them in a corner. Very, very symmetrical. 120 pounds of food. This is 90 days, a 3-month supply. This is unbelievable. This is something you're going to hope you never, ever, ever need. You understand what I'm saying? Preparewithlionel.com. You go and look at this. See if I'm exaggerating. See if we're exaggerating. Preparewithlionel.com. I mean, they are buying this up. It's like, yeah, say no more. Fire NATOs? What is going on here? Lahaina? Oh, well. Did we forget about that already? East Palestine? What about Washington State? What's with all these fires? And then if there's any little problem in the supply chain, in delivery systems, maybe another ransomware to shut down the oil and, Fuel. Remember that? You remember that one? Truckers strike. Nobody gets their supplies. People freak out. Next thing you know, you see things that are barren, store shelves. I mean, it's nuts. Act now. Prepare with Lionel.com. That's all I'm going to say. Look at this. Sparky says Trump has a habit of hiring or endorsing people who betray him. Maybe he's better off with a public defender. Believe it or not, public defenders sometimes are the best, Sparky. You know why? Because they know everybody. They know everybody. Give me the guy who goes all the time. Give me the guy who's always at the, what am I trying to say? The guy who's always at the courthouse. The one who knows everybody. The guy's always getting the coffee. He knows all the clerks, all the bailiffs, all the probation officers. He knows everybody. Public defenders are there every single day. Some of the best lawyers I've ever seen in my life. And the capital people are the best. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just thought of something we did in the old days that was so funny, but so illegal. I'm going to let that go. I have moments like that now. I'll think of myself, oh my God, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? Oh my, do you ever have those moments where you think, oh my God, oh my God. Now, I don't expect people to understand about Trump. I don't expect it because, well, what are you going to do? People don't really care about that. They don't care about Trump because they don't care about Trump. They just don't care about Trump. And Rudy, a lot of people don't like Rudy. Rudy, I'm sorry. A lot of stuff Rudy did was read Bill Bratton. Got into women and drinking and, fell in with the wrong. He's completely full of it. He kind of went nuts a little bit, but arrest him? Come on. You see Jenna Ellis's best mugshot there. Hi. That's the best. You're nothing on me. I'm not worried about it. Andy McCarthy wrote a great piece in National Review explaining that I think Mark Meadows and she probably have two of the best, or the strongest cases for dismissal. But remember, it's not that there's nothing to this. And when I mean that, when I say that, I mean there is something perhaps that is there. Sparky says, I agree about public defenders. Oh, yes. You let me know. You let me see somebody. Did you know, Spark, that years ago, interestingly enough, there were combat field doctors, combat MASH units are simply the best. Do you know that they found out, interestingly enough, that when people sometimes are shot in the head, terrible, and who survive, obviously not, the bullet is red hot. And when it goes in, it sears, it actually like singes or cauterizes the wound, so to speak, and makes the necessity of removes it completely, virtually. There's no need to remove it. Now, there are doctors who did stuff, who saw stuff that nobody's seen. And they're in field hospitals. They're great in trauma wards. Oh, by the way, in New York City, years ago, I don't know about now, Bellevue Hospital was the place for gunshots. They were the best. Now, this was kind of like a crappy hospital. Crazy people, city kind of government. But gunshots? No, the best. Oh, no. You want a guy who sees this all the time. Here's one for you. One time, I read this story in New York Times Magazine about an Israeli doctor, an emergency room physician, who dealt with suicide bombers, and he had the cover of the cover of the magazine was something called the Angel of Death, and what it meant was that there was, ladies and gentlemen, Noron Blythers. Thank you, Noron. Thank you. Excellent. Much appreciated. hand crepitations for you. Grazie mille. Grazie mille. Grazie mille. Norrin Blythers. Great name, by the way. Sounds like a great, the Battle of Norrin Blythers. Samuel Coleridge. E. Westcott. E. Prescott Marmaduke. Norrin Blythers. Ladies and gentlemen, by doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, you do know, we'll talk about the names later. Sparky says, by the way, ex-military medics saved Gabby Giffords. Yep. Yep. Let me tell you something, when that stuff hits. So anyway, I read this story, and when people are hit by these concussions, Norrin, in particular, thank you again, very kind, sir. When they are hit, they're not hit by the shrapnel. It's the percussion. It's this wave of this volume of air, and it macerates. It destroys their viscera. And when you look at the X-ray, it's like white. It looks like an angel. This one scene looks like there's like wings, and what this Israeli person did, he would go to each individual person in the emergency room. He'd go to each person who was brought in, and he would look at them like this. And the people who were crying, he says, good. And he'd always see somebody who was very calm, who would say, no, take other people. That's the one. That's the one. He said, that's the one that's going to die. Because right before this, and I'm paraphrasing after years of reading this, but right before they succumb to this horror, there's a sense of calm. So lo and behold, when I'm in Israel, I'm at this hospital, and they're showing us how when during the first and second intifada, they would bring in, Hamas would get commandeer an ambulance, bring it into the hospital, and have a suicide. They would call them suiciders. Have a suicide bomber in the back of the thing, and then when the doctors would come, so they would take out not only people but doctors who were able to cure. So anyway, I was there, and I look, and there's the doctor. I said, the angel of death, or whatever it was. I said, and he looked at me and said, how do you know? I said, how do I know? I read this. It was the most, and he was like the best doctor you've ever seen. One of the saddest things I ever saw, I think it was at the Hadassah Hospital. I don't know if it was Jerusalem. I don't know where it was. Probably Jerusalem. Who knows? It was Hadassah Hospital. And these Israeli doctors, there was this little boy who pulled a kerosene lamp, one of those lanterns, pulled it over and was burned. His eyelids were burned, and he was just, and his mother, Palestinian, were being cared by these Israeli doctors. This was the saddest thing. I'm not one to cry. I don't cry. I'm overwhelmed. The stuff that makes me tear up are things that are like sentimental things. Sentimental kills me, but not sadness. Not this one paralyzed me. This woman in this room looking at it, this kid was just bandaged. And it was nothing, no war, no terror related. I don't know how much money. It's just, but because of these doctors who saw stuff that nobody saw, that's like whenever you leave your body to science. The best is when you're an old person. That's when you see all the ravages of age. You don't get some young person with a nice thing. Nothing's really corrupted by age yet. In any event, Sparky says Trump with a public defender might be an interesting book. Yeah. Trump though doesn't listen. My goal, what I would do, I would make sure, please, let's take this to trial. And let's embarrass the out of these. I want discovery. I want everything. I want to put on experts. I want to hear, I'm gonna put on a trial. You will beg me to leave. I'll have 50 witnesses, expert witnesses, historians, people saying this is done all the time. This goes to the intent. It goes to the criminal intent. That's what I would do. The history of challenging, the okay, his right. Sparky says, my Atlanta attorney brother says all the high-end attorneys in Atlanta got work from the Trump issue, like ordinary attorneys used to get drug cases when the Grateful Dead was in town. You know, it's funny you say that. It's really something. It's funny you say that. Here's the case you want. Here's the guy you want. God forbid you get arrested on Friday afternoon, or Friday morning. There's a thing called PP court. PP court normally is preliminary presentation, you're brought before a judge within 24 hours, but sometimes on weekends it was tough. Try finding you want an ROR. And when you're in private practice, you don't want them to make bond. Why? Because that's money that's going to you. You don't have to pay a bondsman. You want to ROR him. Release on his own recognizance. No bond. How do you do that? Get a judge to call it into the jail. How do you know that? You know the prosecutor. You know the prosecutor because you used to work with him. Because you all have drinks on Thursday night and you know each other. And you can pick up the thing and say, and you got to trust him. You can say, here's my guy. First time offender, no priors, no this. Will you stipulate to an ROR? Yes, great. Pick up the phone, call Betsy, the judge's secretary, so-and-so said, and if they trust you, because the first time you screw them, you're dead. First time they can't trust you, that's dead. I talked to Dan. Dan said it okay. Okay, good. Picks up the phone. You know, guess what? ROR, you're out. Keep your money. Because that's going to me. I don't want that to go to some bondsman. Try doing that. Try doing that if you're a flea bait or whoever it was. Do you know these people? Can you get back? Do you know how to get to the back of the judge's office? Every city, every place has the usuals, has the people that are the best. Was Bradenton, Florida, or Bradenton. It was a guy one time during a there was a guy who was dipping snuff. One of my first times, this is the most incredible thing in the world. This is a long time ago, so I can tell it. I was in a public defender. I was in a public defender clinic. And I said, I haven't even taken evidence yet. I don't worry about it. I said, what do you mean don't worry about it? No, I don't worry about it. So Bradenton is in Manatee County, and you have to go over the Skyway Bridge from St. Pete. You go beautiful Bradenton, Sarasota, West, Captive, but Bradenton, Longboat Key, that kind of area. Very nice. But the old courthouse is something else. So I had this great guy who was a public defender. Guy smoked more cigarettes than you can imagine. And he says, you want to try a case? I said, well, I don't think I could try a case. He goes, you want to try a case? Yeah, I'll get one for you. Okay. It's a bench trial. I said, okay. I said, listen, I haven't had evidence. Don't worry about it. So there was this guy, and the judge said, Judge, let's get and this judge would do this. When I was talking to him, when he looked at you, he did this. Now I thought he was telling me I got a booger in my nose or something. I said, what? Thank you, Judge. No. Anyway, I'm thinking my first time up, I haven't even had evidence. But that was his affect. He would do this. And I'm going like this, and anyway. Lionel, look at this? Lionel, do you believe another full-on lockdown is coming for the EGS COVID variant 5. Maybe not that one, but yes, indeed. Absolutely, Percy. Listen to what Kathy Hochul is saying. Listen to what they're doing. Listen to the cases that are coming up. Listen to the cases that are coming regarding quarantines. Quarantines. Thank you, Percy. Percy Gold. Isn't that great? Is that like Percy Faith, Percy Gold? Beautiful. So anyway, the judge says, let's give him a case. Oh, don't worry, he ain't going to win it. Bring this one up. Here was the case. Florida Highway Patrol trooper at the top of the Skyway Bridge, and this crazy guy from Poland slams into a trooper, and tries to get away or whatever it was. They got him. I'm thinking, where's the case? And the judge says, exactly. And they're talking about this. I said, should we be talking about? Yeah, don't worry about it. Well, what's my defense? What do I do? Does he have any witnesses? No. Well, anyway, the guy supposedly couldn't speak English. So we had to find a person who speaks Polish in Bradenton, Manatee County, just the heart of the Confederacy. Anyway, they found this librarian, this woman. She says, anyway, they're doing this stuff. So they would say, do you saw me swear to translate from English to Polish? Yes, okay. Ask him a question. I said, ask him where he was. I was on the bridge. And the judge said, whoa, wait a minute. Hold it. Do you speak English? Yeah, he goes, what the hell have we got to, you know how much it's going to cost? How much are we paying her? This is the trial. How much are we paying her? I'm not going to pay for this. You speak English? Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Go ahead. Bill you for, but just for 20 minutes, whatever. So I got this guy. Make a long story short. You ready for this? They convict him. He hit the, I don't even know what I was doing. This was my defense. Oh, come on. That was about it. First time. You ready for this? The guy comes at me, and he says, I trust you. I trust you. And they're like keeping him back. And I'm that law student. I'm thinking, oh my God, I ruined his life. I told you I didn't have evidence. So the judge, he's on his way out and he goes, what was that? He comes out, he goes, excuse me, what was that? He said, he did the best he could. He says, let me tell you something. I can't believe what I'm seeing. This was great. He goes, let me tell you something. I don't know the way they treat you in your country, but I'll be damned if they wouldn't get you a free lawyer. Okay, he's not the best, but still. We're not throwing you in jail. You got your license. You're not doing. What do you mean? In your country, this is Poland. I don't know why it was wild. And they were like saying, did a hell of a job. I felt like Henry Hill, after he's got his first pinch, you never rat on your friends. Like they were clapping, hey, whatever, drink, your first case. I said, that was a disaster. He goes, nah, don't worry about it. I'll never forget that. I trust you. I trust you. But I tell you what, I saw some stuff and some of the best people I've ever seen, some of the best cases, some of the best lawyers who were there every single day. Every single day. Remember when Mike Tyson was charged with rape? Remember that he got some big time, whatever? I forget what city it was, but he should have got with somebody who lives in the city. Somebody who's there. But he got some foreign type who thought he'd come in and act like a big shot. You know what I mean? Well, I'm from New York. And okay. You want to get somebody who has their accent. You want to get somebody who knows what's going on. And what is Trump's defense? Like I said, my defense would be I would have more expert witnesses than you could ever imagine. I would put on a tutorial to have this one and not have that jury. Because remember, my friends, what is it that I want as a juror, as a lawyer for my client? I'm defending you. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Come on, Sparky, you would know this. Come on. You would know this. Sparky, what you seem to know this. Mr. Blithers, Norrin Blithers, what is it? What is it? What does he want? What do I want? What am I looking for? What do I want? What do I want? Hello from the hills of Kentucky. Look at this. Bless your heart. I was a Duke of Paducah, believe it or not. Come on. What does everybody want? I'll wait a little bit. There's a little bit of a delay here. Reasonable doubt. Thank you so much. Matt W. See this guy? See Matt? Don't let Matt's face fool you. Reasonable doubt. That's all I want. I want to hang it up. I want a hung jury. I want one person to say, you know what? You're right. That's it. That's it. I don't have to prove anything. Make them doubt one thing. Read those instructions. I think there's a doubt whether President Trump intended to break the law. If he's intended to do something, and you have a doubt, if you say, oh, maybe, you know what? It seems like, yeah, that's Bob. Yeah. I'm not sure whether he intended to break the law or whether he intended to pursue a right that he thought, perhaps incorrectly. See, one of the weird things about law is mistake of fact. That's a weird one. That's a weird one. Ignorance of the law is never a defense. But remember Linda Tripp. Remember Linda Tripp? Linda Tripp was with Monica Lewinsky, and she says, "No, go ahead, tell me. It's okay." And she's recording this. Well, I forget. I think it was Virginia, wherever it was. It was a two-party state, meaning in order for people to record a conversation, two people have to be privy to it versus one person, which is like most states. If you record somebody, and as long as you're consenting to your own recording, you don't have to get the permission of the other person in a one-person state. But there was an exception, I think, in Virginia or Maryland or Virginia or anyway. They said, this was interesting. They said that if you didn't know, that's a defense. That's a defense. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. You didn't know this? So there's also things too. There's something called scienter, knowledge. You have to know something. If I slip something on you, we're at the airport, and I slip something in your bag because I don't want to carry it, and you didn't know you had it on. Yes, you were in possession of it, but you didn't know it. So you get into these things sometimes about, do you have to know? What do you have to know? Do you have to be aware of it? Anything I can do. And please, please, please let me have voir dire. Please let me get to talk to the jury. Please let me talk to them. Those are the greatest moments ever when you get to meet. It's the only time you can talk to a juror. You cannot talk to a juror once they're sworn. That you can't say, how am I doing? Like an Ed Koch. Oh, no. First question I used to love, because Florida, we had real liberal voir dire. Voir dire means to speak the truth. This is where you get to. And I remember this one case. It was armed robbery. It was one of the best cases, one of the best ones ever. And they had this. They had the hood. They had this fellow's. I remember. They found supposedly a jacket that these people saw. Yeah, the robber. He had this jacket on. Hey, wait a minute. And he was like standing next to the jacket, but they didn't recognize him. They just said, what's that guy doing there? Anyway, they found this jacket. They said, yep, that's the jacket. So they put the jacket on the back of the car, and they've got him, and they're searching him. And as they're going like this, so I remember having a piece of white paper. I said, do me a favor, Mr. So-and-so. Would you rub your hand through your hair? Motion to a in-court experiment. I love this. You don't do experiments too often, but you were like that. I said, let the record reflect. I showed the judge. Oh, my God. I said, look at this. Went to the look. So look at all this hair. Look. And they had him on the back of the car with the jacket, and they're rubbing his hair, and it's falling. I mean, what is going on here? They even brought in the FBI. to match the things. I said, "Do you know where this comes from?" He says, "No." I said, "What if I told you that this came from?" Well, that would change it. I said, "Well, you don't know that, do you?" So this hair came. Okay, of course his hair is his hair. They did it on the album. I'll stipulate. And by the way, whenever you stipulate, you always make a big deal. Your Honor, I'm not gonna. This man's from the FBI. I'm not gonna challenge him. Of course, he's not. He's not lying. Of course, we'll stipulate. And he's thinking, why the hell did I come to? But I told him where to get some Cuban food, and everything was great. Oh, we won. Make a long story, we won. This case was just a mess. But the point was, during the voir dire, I got this one woman, and I didn't know she was Cuban, but she was. And I said, let me ask you a question. Do the police ever make a mistake? Oh, yes. No, they don't. Oh, yes. No, they don't. That's on TV. You mean to tell me the police, they got all the time in the world to do this. They got all the equipment in the labs. They're going to make a mistake? Come on. Listen, in my country, in Cuba, they make mistakes. And so I said, they're gonna bounce her because you get 4 peremptories. You can get certain amount of peremptory challenges, meaning you can just ask the judge number 5, number 7. You don't have to explain why. That's a peremptory challenge. Cause challenges, you got to tell the judge why. Your Honor, number 6 for cause. Why? It's his brother. Okay, that's a good reason. But they were telling me all this stuff. So when I tell you that they made a mistake, you're not going to laugh at me, are you? No. Oh, we got them. They're already ready. They're promising me they're not going to believe the police. I can't believe I'm saying this. Nobody's paying attention to what I'm saying. So if you can ask a juror, you can say, I'm going to ask you the hardest question ever. And you've sworn to tell the truth. And believe me, we appreciate this. And also, do we get to call him President Trump? This is the motion to eliminate. What do you think? If you're the judge, would you let me call him President Trump? Or would he be Mr. Trump or something along those lines? You don't think calling him President Trump would be beneficial? You don't? Come on. Are you kidding me? If I said to you, Mr. Sparky, oh, Sparky's got it. Jury selection is key. Trump's side should effort to get as many African-American men in the jury as possible, as many of them recognize persecution. Wrong. Let me tell you, that's a good one, and I've heard that before. Sparky, I appreciate that. Thank you. How many believe that? How many believe? Who is your ideal juror? Black men? Black women? White women? Teachers. Teachers are great for the process. I've heard this before. Teachers are great because teachers always are. The rules, you've got to do this. And they're into the rules. DUIs, you know who's great? Ex-military, because they're all a bunch of drunks. What? Oh, yeah, get black folks in the Bronx. They hate the police. Really? Let me beg to differ a little bit. Sometimes, depending upon the group you're with, sometimes black folks will tell you, I know exactly what crime is. I know we need more police. I live in an area that's burgled constantly. I'm up to here with crime. And that guy is somebody that I recognize, whatever it is. I know what crime is, and I recognize this. Sometimes more than a white person. Sometimes a white person who you would think, I don't know, maybe never was the victim of crime, doesn't really understand nothing. Oh, you know what? Let the man go. Maybe it's his first time. I don't, believe me, whatever generalities you have, no. You want somebody that's going to promise you, who says to you, I said, now let me explain something to you. Mr. Blithers, let me ask you a question. Sir, I hope it's a sir, please. I think I'm looking at your thumbnail. I can't tell anymore. I don't know. Mr. Blithers, sorry. We got to ask you a question here. Let's assume that you're on this jury, you're selected. And by the way, you never, ever lie to the jury about why. You're going to tell them. And by the way, if you say something I don't like, I'm going to ask you to leave. You know that, right? I'm not going to lie to you. And they appreciate it. Thank you. You want them to trust you. I'm going to tell you exactly the truth. Okay, can you do that? I can do that. That makes sense to me. Just tell them the truth. Mr. Blithers, let's assume you're at a party. And all of a sudden, one of your friends says, hey, did you know that Norman over here was on that Trump trial? What? Yeah, that's right. Wait a minute. They acquitted him. Did you vote not guilty? You better believe I did. Can you be proud of that? Can you honestly be proud of the fact that you voted to acquit President Trump? In this case, in Georgia, for voter fraud, for daring to contaminate the franchise? Do you have the ability? Do you have the ability to stand and say, you better believe it? And Mr. Blinders, let me ask you a question. Let's say you're the last holdout. Everybody says, come on, this is like 12 Angry Men. Come on, let's go. Come on. He's guilty. He's guilty. And you say, wait a minute. I don't know. Listen to me. Don't make us go through this. We've been here. I don't think they're going to sequester him or anything. I don't think they sequester anymore. But the point is, would you have the ability? Yes, that's what I want. And Mr. Blatters, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to everybody in the room, to the Venari. The Venari, the people they're the Venari men, they're called also, perhaps incorrect. But they're the group of people that I get to call from, that I get to pick from. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Some great moments. Mr. Williamson, when you received your jury summons, did you go to the mailbox and say, what is this? What is this? Oh, no. Oh, God, it's a jury. Oh, no, I thought it was a tax. Oh, God, I didn't get it. Did I get it? How do they know I got it? And people are cracking up. I had them laugh. Oh, God. Did I open it? Do they know? How will they know? What if I just don't show up? What if I don't? What do I do? I'll call somebody. How do I get out of this? And then somebody will say, just go into court and tell them you're going to hang him, right? Yeah, we say that. Tell the judge, hang him. And I've got people laughing. They love me. Because that's exactly what they think. And I would say, and you know what, Mr. Williamson? You know who wants to be here less than you? My client. Now I'm laughing. He's laughing. I'm laughing. They like me because they're nervous, and I'm saying to them, I know. We're gonna get through this. Who has ever been on a jury? I mean, made it into the jury, into deliberation, through verdict, not alternate, through the verdict. And the alternates are the worst. God bless them. Now, the alternate, you want to run and you want to grab them. What did you think? What'd you think? Sparky said, also used to, don't know about now, many African-American men resented African-American females in power like the DA in question. Good luck with that one, Sparky. Good luck. Let me tell you something. Believe it or not, I'm going to tell you something. We all have our biases, I guess. But if you are somebody, if you say, I don't like these African-American women in power, well, she's not going to be trying the case. Nisi or Lisi or whatever her name is, or Fanny, she's not going to be there. It's going to be one of her assistants. So that's not going to be. And all that goes out the window. When the case stinks, or you get some cop who's a real jerk, or you look at this poor kid, or you don't know, or you start listening and you're saying, this doesn't make any sense. You forget all about your biases. You go, no, this case here, this case here. We used to have this place. We used to have this great judge, Hanging Harry Coe. Loved him. And we used to have, the juries used to have lunch. And he liked to order, and we had some of the, because we were some of the best Cuban food, yellow rice and black beans, yellow rice and chicken, yellow rice and this, yellow rice, beans, this, beans that, garlic, yuca, plátanos, all this stuff that people would have. And they would eat in this little room, no ventilation. Oh, there was like a vent, but I mean, it was just like this concrete. And I'm thinking they're all in there with all this beans and rice and onions and garlic and wow, potaje. Okay, all right. I had somebody one time had a case of, I think it was the runs. I don't know. All of a sudden she gets up and she's like holding her back, and the judge says, "No, let her go." Okay, no problem. No problem. So I don't believe that for a moment. Now, how do you advise President Trump about eye contact? How do you advise President Trump? You're going to say, you see that jury? Yeah, they're in charge, not you. And when they come in, you stand up. Don't ever have the judge ask you to stand up. We're going to show respect for them. We're going to be the first one up. That makes a big deal. Also, you get to flip. Who gets to sit next to the jury? Who gets to sit next to the jury? Right? You got a room like this. Jury, let's say, is on this side. You got this table and that table. Who sits next? Sometimes it's defense, sometimes it's attorney. You want to be next to them. You want to be next to them. Understand? Always. Sometimes when you're far away, you can't hear. One time it was a Christmas time. I got stuck with this stupid DUI case. I'm trying this case, and I'm listening, and I can't hear anything. And I'm in this old courthouse, and I couldn't hear. And I wonder if it's because of the configuration of maybe the ceiling or something. So I'm looking up like this, and I'm thinking, oh my God, look at this incredible, look at this woodwork, look at this ladder. So anyway, as I look back down, the jury's like this. They're looking like, what the hell is he looking at? And the defense lawyer, whoever it was, and the problem with this is, and the judge is looking, and so I immediately started looking down. I'm writing feverishly. I had no earthly idea. One time when I was a brand new baby prosecutor, it was a stupid thing in traffic court. It was the first question I ever asked. It was dumb. It didn't even matter. It wasn't even important. And I get the chance to ask something, and I just wanted, it didn't really matter. It was a civil infraction. There was no crime, no speeding or something. I don't even think I had jurisdiction. I wanted to do something because I'm officially sworn and I got my badge and all that stuff. So I said, so my cross-examination. So you say the light was yellow? He says, yeah. And I went completely blank. Forgot what the hell, what does that have to do with it? And I said, that's what I thought you'd say. And I sat down. I'm looking like this. And the guy who was my the person teaching me the rope, he's like, been there like 2 weeks longer than me. He goes, what the hell? I said, I'll tell you later. And the judge is like this. And the cop, whatever. Nobody, it was good. It had no effect. But I realized, don't ask questions. Don't ask questions. And if you want to say goodbye, if you want to just excuse a witness, thank them like Jerry Spence used to say. We want to thank you very much for showing up. Thank you for taking your time up. We don't have any questions of you, and we thank you. Have a nice day. Make it sound like you're excusing them. How about the person says, have a nice day? Excuse me, you subpoenaed me. I didn't come here because I wanted to. Sparky says, I stick by my opinion on recognizing persecution. By the same token, they may better recognize guilt, but Trump is not guilty, in my opinion. Okay. Well, first of all, white, black, well, it's never ceased to confuse me or to surprise me how many times people will just vote in ways you never thought they would vote because they just believe the evidence was or wasn't there. Now, let me ask you a question. Is Trump guilty? Do you really know what he's being charged with? Number one. Do you really know what he's being charged with? And do you really know the evidence? No. He could very well be in violation of a law you've never heard of. And he might say, well, I guess that's a violation of that. Well, that's it. I didn't think that. When you think guilty, you're thinking murder and robbery. This might be technical. Something really. You're in possession of documents in the Mar-a-Lago case where you did not secure whatever the Records Act, and you violate Section 2 because you did not. You might be guilty of that. I don't know. I'm not sure what the statute says. Doesn't seem like much, but it could be. I have no idea. I have no idea. Certain things where I didn't know I could. Really, I can't do that? That's right. I know this is a lesser degree, but you know how many people sometimes they'll find themselves where they're drunk, too drunk to drive, and they will pull over, and they'll just turn the key off or turn the car off, and they'll fall asleep behind the wheel just because, and they do the right thing, and the cop comes up, and they're remember, because blood alcohol goes up, so they're bombed out of their mind as they did the right thing. It looks like they're asleep. They did the right thing. They pulled over, but because their key was in the car, they're in the actual physical control. And is he guilty? Well, yeah, but do we really want to? No, this guy, we should applaud him. He did the right thing. Oh, he's behind the wheel. Well, he didn't take the key out of the ignition. Come on. Is he guilty? Yes, but the question is, what did you intend to do? Ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you believe that President Trump, again, let's see if he can say president, because they might say it's Mr. Trump. No, he's out of courtesy. Do you believe he intended to break the law? Do you believe, if you read the statute, whatever it says, intent, there's got to be some criminal intent. Do you believe he intended? Do you believe he intended to break the law? Or was he either mistaken or something else? If you have a doubt, if you cannot say for sure, that is not guilty. Not guilty does not mean innocent. It merely means that the prosecution did not prove this case beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt and within a degree of moral certainty. And that one little doubt stops the train. One little doubt. If you have one doubt as to an alibi, if you're not sure, well, maybe he wasn't there. Maybe he was. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe the gun, well, maybe he didn't intend. Maybe I don't know. Did he know what he was doing? Did he do this? I'm not sure. Maybe he would. Maybe it was somebody else. Maybe I'm not sure if I believe this in court ID. I don't know about that. I'm not sure about the speed. I don't know about. That's all it is. The moment you have a doubt. Somebody used to do this one, which I never really liked. It sounded good. Like, did you ever leave your house and wonder, did I lock the front door? Did I turn the gas off? Did I leave that thing? Did I go that's reasonable doubt. Well, I don't think that is, but sometimes people would do that. And people would say, oh, okay. Not really. It's a doubt you can attach a reason to. We used to always put it this way. Mrs. So-and-so, yes, as a prosecutor, will you promise me one thing? Would you promise me that if you find this guy guilty, or not guilty rather, you'll have a reason? Sparky says, I agree that prejudices soon go out the window with juries. They're usually much more thoughtful than people may think, but that ditzy grand jury foreman doesn't inspire confidence. Now, you're right about that. Remember that one, Sparky? I don't know where she is, but that woman, oh my Lord. She was the Dylan Mulvaney of grand jury forepersons. Percy Gold says, I hired a man to paint my home, put down a $2,000 deposit. Yesterday, I caught him painting my living room without applying primer first. So it will chip within a year. So much dishonesty in the world. Interesting. Now, that's very interesting. Here's my question, Mr. Gold. Do you have to pay him? Did he breach that agreement? If you wrote somewhere along the line, if it's, I hope it's in writing. I hope something in writing. But let's say something. Can you say, I'm canceling payment on it? I'm not going to pay you for that. Why? Well, you didn't do what I said. Well, I did almost what you. It's not what I said. I'm not paying you $2,000 to do 90% of what I said. I'm going to do 100%. You get into some real weird stuff about that. That stuff that you talked about is the most contentious. I swear to God, the biggest fights were in small claims. I never did small claims. Never. But I did it one time for a friend, and it was the worst thing I've ever. People coming in with engine blocks, and it's the because they have fought and fought and fought, and sometimes the injustice that you see is out of control. Is there dishonesty in the world? Yes, absolutely. And then you ask the question, why Trump? Why? What does this say about us? What does this say about us? Does anybody care? Nobody's above the law. That's not what this is about. Seeing the picture of Rudy Giuliani, to me, I mean, what really was something. And I think Rudy's hitting hard times. They say he's drinking a lot. Did you see the latest thing? Now the Biden health person is going to recommend more than 2 drinks, no more than 2 drinks a week. Not that it's mandatory, but it's going to be saying don't do more than. Remember years ago when they said this is binge drinking. What's binge drinking? Well, having more than 3 drinks. That's binge drinking? What do you mean by a drink? Well, 1 ounce of. Wait a minute. What? Have you ever heard this? That's binge. I'm not binge drinking. I'm binge drinking. And technically speaking, it's better for your health and everything. But I mean, what? They're going to go after that next. See, they want to destroy your fun. They want to take away your meat. They want to take away your cars, your drinking. They're going to go after coffee. I mean, anything that brings you pleasure, they're going to do. You got that? All right, dear friends, 57 minutes. 57 minutes. Let me tell you something. I appreciate it. You have been so very, very nice. Percy Gold, thank you. What a great name. Thank you so much. Sparky, thank you so much. Noran, thank you as well. Mr. Blithers, you are more than kind, more than kind, more than kind. I appreciate that immensely. A couple of things too. If you don't mind me doing this, please, I ask you, number one, please make sure you go to, I forgot to tell you, go to Mrs. L's Twitter account at Lynn's Warriors, Lynn's_Warriors, and YouTube at Lynn's Warriors. Please do that. And don't forget, I'm a little passionate about this because I've always thought like, sometimes you sell some great things. You know what I mean? My Pillow, Michael, wonderful people. Great company, great to luxuriate. But now we're talking about living in a world of complete. I cannot prove to you the weaponization of weather, but I will tell you that in April of 1997, U.S. Secretary of Defense William Cohen declared that there are terrorists at work who, and I quote, are engaging even in an eco-type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. Tell me, is he a conspiracy theorist? I am, and I know they got something planned. Please, preparewithlionel.com. Do this now. You'll be thankful. These are the best. And if God forbid you say, thank God, I got 90 days of food if I need it. And that's per person. 25 years. Buy it, forget it. Set it and forget it. Where is Ron Popeil? And where's Bobby Kennedy, by the way? All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Thank you so much for your kindness, your alacrity, your celerity, and your friendship and your love. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Until then, remember these words, these fabulous words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.